Hey guys, Brooke here today with Legal Talk Tuesday, and it is a business law Tuesday, so it's just me. Laura was here a couple of weeks ago talking about family law, and today I wanted to first mention that it is the first day of early voting here in Arkansas, so make sure that you get out and vote. Specifically, one thing that we have talked about here before but are very passionate about are the judicial races. A lot of people don't pay attention to the judicial races, but in reality, the judicial races are actually the races that most directly touch your lives, because if you are going to court for any reason, you're going in front of a judge, they are making decisions based on, sometimes your freedom or your children or your property or your business. And so it's really important to pay attention and to learn more about the judicial candidates. There are some really great candidates here in Pulaski County. I'm sure there are plenty statewide as well. But get out there, educate yourself, and vote and pay attention to those judicial races. And back to today, the business law. Today I'm going to talk about your business entity. So there are several different types of business entities that you can consider. Sole proprietorships, corporations, partnerships, things like that. And it's really just going to depend on your need, what you want to set up or what you actually do business as. But most commonly here at NVL, we work with businesses specifically wanting to form limited liability companies, also known as LLCs. So today is kind of all about specifically LLCs. So what is an LLC? First, it's a separate and distinct legal entity. It's also the simplest way to structure your business to protect your personal assets. It's ideal for a lot of small businesses. We work with a lot of small business owners here at NVL, so that's another reason we do LLCs quite frequently. And basically, your business as an LLC is a separate person that can own property, bank accounts, make agreements, all in its own name. And this is especially helpful in the case of business creditors, because business creditors cannot go after you personally for assets that are owned or debts that are owed by the business. So that's one benefit. What else can an LLC do for you? If you have business partners or employees, an LLC can protect you from personal liability for your co-owners or your employees' actions. We almost always recommend that if you are a business with more than one owner, or that you are employing people, that you do have an LLC in place if that's the right fit for you. Also, an LLC is going to give you a structure for actually operating your business, including making decisions, dividing your profits, your losses, dealing with new or departing owners. Part of an LLC is creating an operating agreement, and that really helps you to avoid issues and spend some time thinking about worst case scenario, but also operational items. So an LLC is also going to offer you taxation options. We don't get too far into the tax stuff here at LLC, but most LLCs are going to be taxed as either a sole proprietorship or partnership. But we actually have several LLCs that choose to elect as an S corporation, or there's some people that even can do a C corporation. So when I'm talking about tax options, I'm just talking about the way that you ask the IRS to treat you as far as taxes are concerned. So what does an LLC not do? An LLC can't issue stock. So sometimes that complicates things if you want to take on investors. Sometimes investors kind of prefer more of a corporation because of that reason, but that's something to keep in mind if that's part of your long-term business goal. Also, some licensed professionals in certain states aren't allowed to create or operate as an LLC, which means, professions, sometimes doctors, lawyers, even accountants, things that require licenses, sometimes require you to operate as a PLLC or a limited liability partnership instead. So you'll want to know that specifically here in Arkansas. That's something we usually evaluate when we talk to the person and their profession and their goals. Also, there are limits to the protection of an LLC. So you're still going to be personally liable if someone sues you for your own negligence or wrongdoing. So you still have to, put your best effort forth and be careful not to be negligent or, maliciously do anything. even if those accusations are directly related to your business. An LLC also is not going to protect your assets if you personally guarantee a contract or loan. And so you can go in and, like I said earlier, you can sign, contracts on behalf of your business, but as your business, not as yourself as an individual. But if you go out, for instance, and take out a loan for your business and you don't do it in your business name, you take it out personally, you can still be personally liable if you default on that loan. And so you want to make sure that if you have the business entity set up, that you are contracting those types of things through your business, so that way your personal assets are not compromised in the case of some kind of default, or if there's some kind of judgment against you or the business. And it's not going to protect the business itself from losing everything. So if there's a fire, flood, lawsuit, some kind of economic issue, those things, you're not necessarily going to be protected just by having this business entity set up. So definitely want to consider your situation and whether or not, you need some kind of insurance to cover some of those things. It's always a good idea. Who needs an LLC? So if you have co-owners or employees, without that LLC or any other business entity that is created separate from your own person, your personal assets are at risk if your business is sued for something that even your co-owner or one of your employees does. And so and also an LLC's operating structure helps you to avoid conflicts and misunderstandings between you and your business partners. And again, that kind of goes back to your operating agreement for your LLC. Especially, people come to us a lot and we help them when they are at the start of business, and it's really exciting and you don't want to think of things going wrong. And so that's our job, to be kind of worst case scenario, but really it's just to protect everybody. And then that way, you can avoid some disputes because you can turn to your operating agreement to dictate how you're running things or to make decisions. So also, if your business has significant risk and you want to protect, your other personal or business assets, it's a good idea to think about having an LLC, because some types of businesses are at a high risk for failure and others have like financial liability risk. Some businesses have much higher risk than others, and that's kind of just going to be a business by business assessment. But for example, multiple LLCs are a common strategy if you have, we have clients who have multiple rental properties. And so if you have all of your rental properties under one LLC, sometimes if you have financial problems, then you may jeopardize the other, financial problems with one rental property, you may jeopardize the other rental properties under that LLC, or any other savings or anything associated with that if you have it set up like that. So sometimes it's a good idea to consider having more than one LLC holding those types of things. So you can get creative in how you set things up, how you operate. You really want to just individualize it. We work with our clients to kind of personalize the situation, talk about what kind of entity is best for them, what the LLC looks like for them, how the operating agreement should be set up to not only, best suit their industry, but to suit them specifically in their business and their goals. And so there's a lot that goes into it. But in the long run, if you set up that separate entity, you are reducing some of your risk, you're reducing some personal liability, and overall protecting yourself. So I hope that helps a little bit. We get a lot of questions about LLC specifically and whether it's a good idea and what it entails. We're always here. Drop some questions in the comments if there's anything that you have a general question about, need some clarity. Obviously, this is not overall general legal advice, just kind of an overview of what an LLC is and what it can and can't do. Next week, Laura and I are actually headed to Tech Show, which is like a big deal in the legal industry as far as legal tech is concerned. And for the ABA, it's kind of, somebody referred to it the other day on a call as the Super Bowl of the law practice division of the American Bar Association, which it actually is. So we have a lot of stuff going on. We'll probably be posting. We'll probably even maybe pop in for a live if we slow down enough to do it. We both have a lot of obligations while we're there. We're both speaking, and we both have some other commitments. But we will be back here on the first Tuesday in March with some more Legal Talk Tuesday. Thank you guys, and I hope you guys have a great week.